Hey guys, greetings. This is Scott with the Resisting Evil Through RSP channel, which stands for Reactions, Sermons, and Podcasts. And today I have my second sermon, and it's going to be entitled Freedom versus Slavery, or Good versus Evil. You must choose. One or the other. You have laid out choices in life, and I'm going to go over those. I wish that y'all would be patient. I'm trying to get video editing software and learn how to do thumbnails and upgrade my internet and my microphone. So I'm getting there, but just enjoy the content because it's really good. Today I am wearing my America Chuck Yeah t-shirt that I got from Chuck Norris himself to support youth programs. So I am marked free from coronavirus, Satan himself, Antifa, liberal morons, pretty much safe because they see the Chuck's picture on my shirt and they freak out and take off. So, but anyways, there was a joke a while back that a Serbian nation wanted to name a bridge after Chuck Norris. It was from Saturday Night Live, and the guy's like, you can't name a bridge after Chuck Norris because nobody crosses Chuck Norris. That was funny. That was a good punchline. But anyways, we're going to get started today. I hope this is a blessing for you. I did a sermon on what is evil and defined it. I'm doing really basic stuff, trying to reach new people that have never been to church, haven't heard information about God and the Bible, why they should have faith. Things to look at and learn in our world and hopefully strengthen your faith. These aren't going to be long, maybe 8 to 10, 15 minutes at the most. Today, we're going to look in Galatians chapter 5, verse 1. And the verse says, "It is for freedom that Christ set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery." Now, the freedom or slavery choice, there's a couple of things with slavery. One is our choice where we put ourselves into slavery. We put things that control us in our lives where we can't make free choices. There was something called indentured servitude, where people borrowed a lot of money and then had to work for somebody as a slave and pay it back, and that was their choice. And a lot of Irish came over to America. There was famine, they had no food, and a lot of them signed on for indentured servitude and served alongside black slaves in the New World. Now, I know black slavery wasn't always their choice. And there were some evil people that in Africa of their own color that sold them out. But going back to creation, Jesus said, "I'm the way, the truth, and the life." And when they made us, they had a choice. They could have made the world perfect, but to do that, they would have had to program us so we could not choose evil. We could not make bad choices. We could not do wrong. And God looked at that and he said, I don't want to make robots. I don't want to make program people who are perfect and have no will, have no soul. And he decided to give us free will. He gave his angels free will. And Lucifer, who is Satan, used his free will to decide he was better than God and tried to overthrow him, started a war in heaven, and then was cast out. And so he gave Adam and Eve that same choice. And he put the tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the garden. And Adam and Eve had to choose to obey God and not do what he said, which was stay away from it. But Eve was deceived when it saw that the fruit was good, could make her strong and knowledgeable and powerful, just like God. And so she took a bite of it and got Adam to as well. And so sin entered the world, but God knew that was going to happen. And so for him to want to give us a free will, he knew that we would mess up, and he knew that he would have to come and make the ultimate sacrifice to pay the price for that. So freedom is the most important thing to God, is for us to be free and independent and to choose to follow him of our free will, to believe him, to do right, to serve him, not because he makes us to, not because he buys us off, but because we love him and believe in him and have faith. But and so good comes along with freedom. And this verse on not returning to the yoke of slavery. Well, when you choose evil and you cast God aside in your life, you become a slave to your flesh. You become a slave to Satan. You become a slave to the world system, and you no longer have the freedom that you once had, and you are on the side of enslaving others. Globalism and a lot of elites who really are into occultism and Satanism, Satan told them they could own the world, and that's what they're trying to do. And their goal is to enact slavery, tell you when you can leave your house, when you can't, what you can drive, what you can't, where you can live, what you can say on the internet, and how you think. There's a lot of thought crime laws where if they don't agree with you and you say something that's out of line, then they want to charge you with a crime. And not talking about threatening the safety of somebody, just giving your opinion. I gave my opinion on what I thought about Muhammad and Islam and stated historical facts on Twitter, and I got my account suspended, so I can't be on Twitter. And so they want to track you. They want to put a chip in you. I mean, in Revelations talks about the mark of the beast, that unless you bow down and worship this beast and take his mark, then you won't be allowed to buy or sell unless you have that mark. And they're already doing that to some degree. And it may not be an actual mark, but people are being banned from banks, from internet sales, platforms, business platforms, because of their beliefs. They're conservative, they're Christian, they believe in freedom. They won't bow down before Antifa thugs or before anything else other than God. We're not going to bow during the national anthem, but we'll bow during a prayer. God is our Lord, and we will not be brought back into slavery. We will be free. And so our line in the sand is the Second Amendment. But if you choose good and you help others and you value your freedom, Mel Gibson said it best in Braveheart, you may take our lives, but you will never take our freedom. Being free is extremely important, because there are a lot of people in this country who are very free, but they're not rich. And then there's a lot of people in this country who are very rich, but they're not free. Our elite media, our elite celebrities, our elite CEOs and business people, our elite athletes, and all of these people have to really sell themselves into slavery to get famous. There's a club. The people who finance and own CNN, who own MSNBC, who own Universal, who own Sony, who own Disney, these globalist billionaires, they will not let you make any money through their media platforms unless you fall in line with what they want. And they'll snap their fingers and tell you, like you're a stripper, to get out on that pole and shake your butt against Trump and his administration and Christians, and these people do it. They have no choice. I mean, sorry for the brash example, but I mean, they really hoard themselves out, and they are slaves. And you look at these celebrities who complain about Trump and conservatives and Christianity, and they push abortion, and they push transgenderism, and they push anarchy, defund the police, ICE. They push communism. They push socialism. They push mechanisms to take our freedom and our life. And we need to recognize that. They chose to get rich, and they don't care if they hurt us, and they don't care if they hurt America. They've gotten theirs, and they're doing what they said they would do to get to where they are. And there's a lot of celebrities who've been on the outs who have no opportunity. Jim Caviezel, James Woods, even Mel Gibson. I mean, he has to do his own movies just to get a role anymore. And a lot of these conservatives who said no, and there's a few, very few that, ascend that, and they'll let them work anyways because they're so rich and famous that they are choosing money over this person having the wrong influence on the narrative. And one of those is Denzel Washington. But you look at Oprah Winfrey, man, they walk in lockstep like they're part of the hive or the what's that? The Borg. Star Trek. We are Borg. We are one. I mean, they really parrot each other. They are all on the same page. They are part of the group. They are against this country, and they want to destroy it so they can take over and have the power. And they use stuff like weather, climate change, global warming, different things that are probably false. I know the COVID-19 turned out to be a hoax and is designed to take away our freedoms as well. So if you choose to reject God and his offer of salvation and doing good for others, then you are choosing to become a slave to the other side. And you may be enslaved against your will sometime, but that happened to Israel when they disobeyed God and they turned from him. Their protection was lost, and they ended up being conquered by foreign powers and had to fight and regain their freedom at later times, in different times in the Old Testament. So when you turn against God, you release and get rid of that protection that he has for you. But there's lots of ways that you enslave yourself, and people do. I mean, social media, our phones, bad habits, attitudes, addictions. And God wants us to be free. He doesn't want us to be a slave. He didn't make us like a robot. He wanted to love us. He wanted us to choose to love him. And there's nothing greater than that in human relationships and marriage, when two people meet and fall in love and choose to love each other and sacrifice for each other and make each other stronger. But when one person doesn't love the other person, but they're forced to stay like a slave or a hostage, it just doesn't work. It's not the same. And God didn't want that. He gave us the choice. He's not going to force us to go to heaven. He's not going to force us to go to hell. I mean, we either choose to go to heaven or we choose to go to hell. We send ourselves to hell by our choice. And so that freedom is God's greatest love, and it's God's greatest gift for us that there could be. And we need to embrace it and stop giving up our rights and cherish the freedom that God has for us, gave for us, decided before we were created and sacrificed for us to have. Don't give it up. America is all about freedom. And the abortion, people talk about free, pro-choice. Well, yeah, people have a choice, but they can't choose to harm other people with their choice. They can choose to either, and if they do choose to harm other people for their own self-gain or for just the fun of it, then that's evil. And by that choice, they are enslaving themselves. And they are losing their freedom, either through the law or through natural consequences. And so that's up to them. And so, if you want to follow God and you want to be free, but there's responsibilities that go with freedom. That you have to take care of yourself. You have to decide for yourself. You have to decide that you're going to follow God. You're going to obey Him. You're going to read His Word. And you're going to take responsibility for your life and your own well-being and help other people when you can. And stand up and do what I'm doing and speak out against evil. God relies on us to do that because of free choice. That people have the choice to do evil, and that's why there's bad stuff in the world. You can't blame that stuff on God. If the world was perfect, then we'd be robots, but we aren't robots, so the world's not perfect. And so He gave us that gift, but along with it comes responsibility. That we shouldn't let evil people harm let innocent lambs go to slaughter without saying anything. We need to speak up. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was a Lutheran minister in World War II, fat, chubby face, glasses, he looked German. But he rebelled against Hitler and the Third Reich because he saw it was wrong. And he's quoted as saying that to not speak is to speak. And evil is remaining silent. If you don't speak up against evil, then you're saying it's okay. Not to act is to act. So if you don't do anything, then you're saying it's okay. And God's not going to hold you blameless for remaining silent. And He got involved in the underground resistance and ended up being hung for, sedition. He got caught. He was delivering messages. And he spoke up and he acted. And there was a Black Robe Brigade in the Revolutionary War of pastors who would preach a sermon on Sunday and put on their uniform and grab their gun after service and go fight in the Revolutionary War. Because they knew how important freedom was, and they knew that we wouldn't be able to live, that we have the right to live, we have the right to defend ourselves. And so churches need to open. We need to use our choice for positive things. We need to use our freedom to accomplish positive things and not waste our time with things that don't matter. And I'm trying to change. I'm not perfect. I have a past and I've made mistakes and I've wasted a lot of time, but things have gotten so bad that I just can't remain silent. So, I pray for you. I hope you're doing well. Learn, look at what's going on in the world through what I've said and apply it. Don't just let it go in one ear and out the other. Really think about it. Watch this video a couple times. Subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But you'll get good information that'll help you in your life. And political information as well as some good music and some good reactions as well. And I appreciate it. You have a good day. Thanks a lot. Bye.